everybody? It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington, and I'm here in Atlanta on the set of CW's Black Lightning. Now, I got a lot of exclusive, in-depth interviews with a lot of members of the cast, and even some footage you may not have seen up close and personal. So get ready for the ride. This is going to be a fun one, y'all.
Yeah, the ring is on. Yeah,
there you go. So this season, we have seen you, but not much. But you gave us one of the most important bits of information when we did see you.
Okay, did I?
You did, about Adele and where he came from.
Yeah.
Please tell us if we're gonna see you get out of that little square box I got you in.
Are you guys interviewing Salim? Is he coming to sit down with you guys?
He might be.
We don't know for
yet.
sure.
We don't know yet.
Gotta ask him.
Oh,
that's a good way to get out of
That's very good.
You gotta ask him because he's the guy that knows.
How does it feel playing the role so far in the pit where you've had to have Tobias constrained?
Yeah, it's been extremely interesting. You know, for the first 2 years, the character has been on top of the world. You know, he's been very maniacal and manipulative and been able to have his way. It's been challenging. I say challenging not to be, not for you to feel sad for me or anything, but challenging in the best way as an actor to take something that I've built and that we've built together. That's this, grandioso image, and then to kind of tear that down layer by layer and re-reveal him in this new way, to hopefully get a contrast of emotion, whether it's now sympathy or empathy or whatever it may be for him. I think it's interesting. It's been fun. It's been, I hope that I'm believable as that guy, as I am as the guy in the suit.
You've been that way. I mean, to watch him being broken down, especially when Adele opened up the sunroof and to watch Tobias cringe. Something we've seen him in pain from fights in a sense, but to watch that level of pain,
that was sad for me.
I actually felt sympathetic for him in that moment.
Good.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, can you talk a little bit more about the progression of your relationship with Adele as the season moves forward? Because it feels a little bit, and maybe it's just to me, a little bit of like a cat and mouse relationship between the two of them. That's kind of the best analogy that I have. But how does that progress as the season goes on? Because I know today we're shooting 3/11. So I know that there are some more tidbits, some more back and forth.
There's a lot more, and as the season reveals, the season goes on, a lot more will be revealed. I think that Tobias, if you look at season 1 and season 2, Tobias was very much so aware of who the ASA is and their power, and in season 1 and season 2, the layers of the ASA have been revealed. From Martin Proctor in season 1 and Lady Eve and so on and so forth. Now it's Agent Odell, right? And then we didn't know how in-depth Agent Odell really was. Now we know. So it's been revealed, and I am excited, just like you are, to see how that plays out. The like you say, the cat and mouse chase. Mm-hmm.
Now, season 1, season 2 felt like Tobias was the most dangerous threat to Freeland.
Yeah.
And now, both physically and practically,
he's not. Right.
Compared to Odell, in your mind, as the person playing it, compared to Odell, is Tobias still a bad guy? Is he still the biggest threat?
I think we've had this conversation before, and we've talked so many times. But I know that I've probably said this before in our conversations. Tobias believes and feels, that everyone is better than the worst thing they've ever done. So, including Tobias, including Odell. I think that he with Odell being in the picture, he now has an air of justification about who he is. as he sits in that pit and meditates, and tries to keep himself from dying. I think he has he's kind of reveling in the idea that he's not the worst of the worst. It's not good to make comparisons, but at the same time, as I say, the saying goes, it could always be worse. I think between Tobias and Odell represents that for Tobias, that it could always be worse. So that might put him on might make him from afar look better, look more like a good guy right from a distance.
But if you squint,
when you squint or walk a few feet closer.
Thinking of how bad Tobias actually is, last season, the case, we finally revealed what it was, the MD's, the massive disaster.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this prior. They got beat up a little bit by Thunder and Black Lightning towards the end, but we didn't see anything else.
We didn't see anything else, I know.
Is there a possibility that they are still in the wind, waiting on Tobias to resurface?
Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm with you on that. I think that we're on to something with the MOD. And if you follow the comics, then you know how intricate they are. I don't know. I would hope so. I like where we're going with that. I'm as clueless as you, but I do watch like you do. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, well, what's up with that? So it's something I try to get the writers to tell me a little bit about, and they won't tell me anything because they know I'm talking to you guys. So they won't tell me anything. Totally. Good question. Great question.
Thank you. Because you watch the different elements and different things Tobias has laid in place, and then he's taken out of that situation. And so it seems like some of those things are still going to be in motion, but not as full force.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then trying to find the pit has been a thing for everybody. Like, where is the pit?
My gosh, I hope they find this thing
soon. And soon. The show has always been political, per se, but how important is the show's voice to you as a participant in it and its statement about Black America at this time?
Wow. That was a great question. The show is extremely important to me. The subjects of social injustice that it tackles, I think from day one, from episode one, it is the substratum of what the show is about and what it represents, right? And more so than that, and we've had many conversations about this, about how it affects the Black experience overall, and more credit to Salim Akil and the writers of this show, because what they have done is they've created a complete inclusion for the Black experience in totality. If you see the stance, I'm going to speak for myself. I can't speak for Nafisa or Christine or Cress or James or anyone else. But for myself, what I can say, that the stance that Salim Akil has taken through the vehicle that is Black Lightning on Black people with albinism the world over says a lot to the point of the show. From the root, he has taken that experience and taken a stance on it. Not just touched or scratched the surface. Not just put a blurb in or created an episode for or about. He took a complete stance. Here we are, third year running, and he's shown you a complete Black experience, right? A complete one. Even the albino cousin, remember him?
Yes.
Yes.
The complete experience. He left no one out. Muslim, Christian, name it. And that has a lot to say to Salim Akil. Don't give nobody else the credit, y'all. Don't. Because if that was the case, why haven't we seen it before?
Yeah.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Very true.
These same studios, these same producers, these same directors, they've been there. But not until the Salim Akil do we see this experience.
It's powerful, yeah.
Sure.
So I know you can't reveal too much about what a Tobias post pick would look like, but knowing,
I hope it looks like this.
knowing where we're at this point at 304, what do you think this experience would transform the way he would approach life after that.
The experience in the pit.
Yes.
I think so. I think any isolation or confinement changes you, right? And I mean this. Check this out. And let's be honest for a second. If you stay in your house for 3 days straight and speak to no one at all, it's going to change your perspective in a way. Something's going to happen in your head, and it's going to be determined. It's going to be on you whether it's a positive change or a negative change. It's all on you. So any kind of isolation, solitude, or solace is created to instigate change. So of course he's going to be changed. Now, will he be changed for the better or for the worse? That is to remain to be seen. That has to be played out.
You still had one of the best lines of the season.
Of what season? One,
Of
2, or
this
3?
season currently.
Of currently
When
season.
you
Wow,
call
we're only
Black-
4 episodes in.
Because you
Like,
call
wow.
Black Lightning a ghetto glowworm.
Well, isn't he?
I think
I'm kidding. I love
I
it.
could not
But
help
he's-
but cry laugh because for the writers to have that in the script and for the delivery,
Yeah.
and then to see Black Lightning at that moment, and you're like, yeah, ghetto glowworm.
Cannot see it.
Cannot see it now.
Yeah.
I think Tobias is he's underrated in the level of villainy when we talk about a lot of these comic book TV shows.
Oh, thank you, man.
You know, and
I
you know, I got
appreciate
that shirt to say Black Villains Matter,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
always
yeah.
behind it.
Yeah, you
No, but
do.
seriously,
Yeah.
because you have a
I
lot of
remember that
villains.
shirt.
Because you have a lot of villains, and we put them on pedestals.
Yeah.
And we either go because of abilities or what they've done. But you have someone who is cerebral and maniacal as Tobias Whale,
Yeah.
and what you've done in bringing that to the screen.
Thank you, man.
You know, so and to thank you for that.
Thank you, man. Indeed. Appreciate that so much.
Not a problem at all. You know, I think people need to recognize we need to give that more appreciation.
Yeah.
You know, this villain is not just your typical I want to destroy people, take over the world.
Yeah, not at all.
No,
Not
you
at
know,
all. No, not at all.
Yeah,
Very
he's,
psychological.
not monologuing. It's not
No.
two dimensional, and that's a
No,
credit
he's
to
the
the writers and
most,
stuff,
you
too.
know, and I'm not saying it because I play him, and I'm not saying it because, I'm not saying it because this guy is my favorite villain of all time, but the way they wrote him, that Celine wrote it, and the writers, Pat and Lamont, they all wrote it, it's very Joker-esque, you know. It's like if Joker and Nino Brown. It's very much so that, you know, and I only say that because, you know, I just know how impactful those guys were for me. And you know, when you have a character like a Tobias Whale in the world like Freeland, on a show like Black Lightning, you know, all first, you know, but yet in the world of DC and the whole, you know, comic book folklore that's happening right now, that's come to this point of, you know, mainstream, you know, commodity. I think it's important, brother, sisters, that we have something that is uniquely our own, and supersedes expectation, and sets another benchmark, you know, for what we know to be a villain, you know. And again, you know, we've had so many. I mean, think about this. Think about with Joaquin. He is the, you know, fourth or third. I would say third. I would say iconic representation of one character. You got Jack Nicholson. You got Heath Ledger. You now got three iconic presentations of one idea. And I'm the first of this idea. You know, I think about it 60 years from now, you know, I want to say how old, but hopefully I'm alive.
You'll be 50.
And hopefully I'm alive. And hopefully I'm alive. And I can see the new Tobias Whale. You know what I mean? Because what I did was so iconic for the world that you need something, again, to affect change that way. You know, and that's what I'm the first, so I'm trying to hit something here. You know what I mean? And be intentional with that. so that it does resonate for my grandkids, your grandkids, and so on and so forth.
Guys, this is our last question.
Favorite scene?
Yeah.
Which been your favorite scene this season, whether you were in it or not?
Oh my gosh. I was glad you said that. Whether I was in it or not. I wasn't in this one. I wasn't in this scene. But I don't want to misquote who it was. But was it the scene? And have you guys watched every episode so far?
Yes.
Okay. So the scene where the commander comes in and punches Damon.
Oh,
yes.
Oh, that shit. I loved it. And not for any other reason, but because I love those two actors, right? They're both Charles Duncan and Damon Gumpton are awesome.
Yes.
Phenomenal black actors. If you know the craft of acting
Yes.
and know those two guys, phenomenal.
Yeah,
And Charles, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
we grew up on him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so seeing him and working, I was on set that day. I came, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm on set, and I'm watching, and I'm like, yo, to see those two and the whole, I've never seen Damon react like that. If you watch, you've never seen that side. It was so funny to me. It was just so funny to me to where I was like, I even told Celine, I was like, yo, that shit. That face he made after he got punched, was the funniest shit this season, for real. But that was my favorite scene, yeah. That one.
Thank you guys.
Thank
So far.
you.
Thank you, guys. Always a pleasure.